bitch. You know I'm sexy. Ugh, don't call, just text me. Bitches slow, can't get on my speed. They stare cause they know I'm the ITGIRL. You know I am that girl. Shh, bitch, don't kiss and tell. It go from ATL.
Communism has led to the greatest uptick in life expectancy in world history. It has led to the greatest spread of prosperity in world history.
Yeah. This may look like a 5-star hotel, but it's actually a prison in Norway. So this man right here was convicted of killing someone, and this is his cell block, which comes with a full kitchen, a big screen TV, and even his own laundry room. He even gets a key to his own cell. The only rule is that he has to stay there overnight, but the rest of the time he can leave whenever he wants. Inmates also have a regular work week where they work a variety of different jobs, from car mechanics to graphic designers. And after work, they can play in one of the badminton, football, or basketball courts. And they do get the weekends off where they can invite their families to stay in a house like this one. And the reason this prison treats inmates so well is because their goal is to turn criminals into good people.
So I know 2 languages, right? ASL and English, and we all know that ASL is a visual language, meaning you don't speak it. But sometimes I will literally start to speak in ASL. And what I mean by this is I can be talking with one of my hearing friends and they'll say something like, oh yeah, me and my boyfriend just broke up, and I'll say, pa, because y'all were toxic. Pa is something you mouth while you sign finally at the same time to mean like finally. Another thing I say is if I'm talking with someone and they're making a good point, like, oh, I think school is dumb, I'll say like that, because it's true. School is dumb. It's funny because the people who know sign language get it, but the people who don't know sign language have to stop talking for a minute, sit back, and think about what I just said.
Decolonization is more than just a quote for your Instagram bio. It is a very intense and painful process that systematically repairs some of the harm that has been done and continues to be done to oppress people across the world. And it starts at home.
Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, is worth about $150 billion. That's enough to make him the richest man in the world by far, and possibly the richest human being in all of human history. It's certainly enough to pay his employees well, but he doesn't. A huge number of Amazon workers are so poorly paid, they qualify for federal welfare benefits. According to data from the nonprofit group New Food Economy, nearly 1 in 3 Amazon employees in Arizona, for example, was on food stamps last year. Jeff Bezos isn't paying his workers enough to eat, so you made up the difference with your tax dollars. Next time you see Jeff Bezos, make certain that he says thank you. What about the Walton family? They founded Walmart. Collectively, they're worth about $175 billion. That's more than the entire gross domestic product of Qatar, the oil-rich Gulf state. The Waltons could certainly afford to be generous with their workers. Instead, they count on you to take up the slack. In 2013, taxpayers sent more than $6 billion to Walmart's employees for food stamps, Medicaid, and housing assistance. And if you think that's remarkable, meet Travis Kalanick. He's the youthful founder of Uber. His personal fortune is close to $5 billion. His drivers, by contrast, often make less than minimum wage. One recent study found that many Uber drivers lose money working for the company. That's not a sustainable business model. The only reason it continues is because of your generosity. Because you're paying the welfare benefits for Uber's impoverished drivers, child billionaires like Travis get to keep buying bigger houses and more airplanes. He's someone else who owes you a thank you note. If you can think of a less fair system than this, send us an email. We'd love to hear about it. This system is indefensible. And yet, almost nobody ever complains about it. How come?
Not even just if you need to survive if you're starving. No restrictions to diet, and you absolutely should steal as much as you can. Pack food and blueberries and flowers for your napkins. Big companies are harmed by stealing, because if you give it a shot, it raises their premiums. It's cool and fine. And actually what I wanted doing, I'm someone a little
The girls who girl, girl. The boys who boy, boy. The girls who boy, boral. The boys who girl, girloy. But the no girl, no boys who no boy, no girl, girl.
I'm about to say something kind of controversial, and that's that I'm a trans man and I don't wish I was a cis man. Do I have certain struggles as a trans man? Yes. Do I have certain disadvantages as a trans man? Absolutely. And I still do experience dysphoria sometimes. But at the end of the day, I love who I am, and part of that is my transness. I love my journey, I love my community, I love being a pretty man. Like, I'm clearly a man, but I'm still, like, cute and pretty. I vibe with that. I fuck with that. And I wouldn't want to change who I am because I simply don't know how to be anything other than who I am. I don't know what the cis version of me is like. I don't know if he's happier or not, but I don't really care to know because I'm perfectly happy just as I am. And I feel like that's something that's taken me a long time to say because there is for some reason so much stigma around loving yourself as a trans person. Like, I know I would have never ever said that when I was young because the trans rhetoric that I was taught is that, like, being trans is hating yourself. And that if you don't aspire to being cis, you're not even trans. Transness is so much more complicated than wanting to be cis. Oh my god. I don't know how to put it. Being trans just suits me. Some people like to say to trans people, oh, God doesn't make mistakes. You were born to be a woman. God doesn't make mistakes, I agree, because I was born to be a trans man. It wasn't a mistake that he didn't make me as a cis man. My transness is wonderful and it's beautiful, and so is your transness. Even if you want to be cis, there's nothing wrong with that. That's completely understandable. But I feel like when I was young, never hearing trans people say they love themselves made me feel like I had to hate myself. And it did make me hate myself, but I don't feel like that anymore. I love myself. I love myself, and I'm trans, and I'm proud, and I hope that you could be too. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow for more trans topics.
We know that AI can produce unethical outcomes. For example, in 2018, Amazon experimented with using it to review job applications and rate them from 1 to 5. They had to scrap it when it started downgrading applications from women. So, we know that things can go wrong. Is there anything we can do about it? There are two broad approaches.
I can't believe you're getting so worked up about some guy.
This one is different. He's honest and he's sweet.
Please.
He would never do anything to hurt me.
He's a guy.
So Waffle House workers are on strike, or they're threatening to strike so that they can receive $25 an hour. And people are upset because they're getting paid less at a job that they feel requires more skill. In a past video, I said that if someone is living in poverty and your suggestion for them is to get a different job, what you're really saying is that they deserve to live in poverty for working the job that they have. And the response to this strike is exactly what I meant. What capitalism and the existence of billionaires has done is given a large portion of the population false hope that one day they too will be rich. But one of the functions that goes into the title of being rich is having an exponentially larger amount of money than everybody else. And the only way to do that is to intentionally ensure that poor people exist. Meaning that the only way capitalists feel as though their lives have worth is if other people have it way worse. Basically, in their eyes, it's the only way they can feel confident or as though they can achieve a healthy self-esteem. Which is exactly why you see people making 50 to maybe 100K complaining about this strike, even though it doesn't affect them at all. Because if Waffle House workers aren't starving, then the people making 60 to 100K feel less accomplished and less grateful for what they have. It's actually sick what capitalism has done to us when you really take the time to think about it.
We are now on day 4 of the attacks on Gaza. So this is my day 4 update. Essentially, everyone has been displaced from their homes. The bombings are everywhere, so people are fleeing from one place to another. There are currently so many people on the streets unhoused because there is nowhere safe. At this point, if you're someone from Gaza, then you or someone you know or someone in your family has probably been impacted somehow. We are in a huge humanitarian crisis. Israel has cut off electricity. They have cut off water entirely. They are also not allowing any food inside Gaza. Israel has also bombed the only passageway between us and the outside world, which is the Rafah border between Gaza and Egypt. They bombed it and now the border is closed. Israel is not allowing any aid into Gaza. They are not allowing any food. They are not allowing any supplies. The hospitals are way past capacity. There are not enough nurses, not enough doctors, not enough beds. One of my friend's sisters got stitched up in her head. You don't even have time to do any recovery in the hospital. You get stitched, you're sent home once you're awake. Israel is dropping white phosphorus bombs, which, by the way, were also used in Ukraine. But I guess no one speaks out when they're used on Gaza, on Palestinians. We have passed the point of arguing about who's morally correct or who's not, and what is this about, etc. At this point, I really don't care. I really don't care what the media says. I couldn't care less about how ignorant some of you are. This is a humanitarian crisis, and this is a genocide. And worst of all, there is no one helping people in Gaza. There is no country standing up for us.
No, see, I'm not a system, but like, oddly enough, I seem to get along with systems really well because I've made friends with like several people now and then found out that they were systems, and my partner is questioning right now. So, do you ever dissociate so hard that you just like feel like you're a different person, you know? Like it's you, but also it's not you. I think today is gonna be one of those days where my brain just doesn't hit record. You know, like you're conscious and you're there the whole time, and then afterwards you know that the day happened and that you experienced it, but you just don't remember any of it. Oh my god, shut the fuck up. Oh, I'm so sorry, not you, I'm just talking to my brain. The ADHD is wild. Sometimes I'll have like 5 trains of thought going and none of them feel like they're mine, and then sometimes my brain is just so radio silent it almost hurts, you know? Like I can't even hear my own thoughts. No, it's like I'm one person, obviously, but it's like there's different versions of me, you know, like different flavors of me that come out during different circumstances, and sometimes just whenever. I must just be like super face blind because all of the time people come up to me and act like they've known me my whole life, and I'm like, I have literally no idea who you are. Yeah, I have no idea why I bought this necklace. It is not even remotely my style, but I feel like I'm not allowed to get rid of it, so. Yeah, we'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. I don't know why my brain does that. You know how sometimes you just like slip into a silly little character voice and then you like can't stop for hours or sometimes days? Isn't that weird? You don't do that. No, I'm fine. I just get these horrible like pinpoint headaches throughout the day. I think they're stress related. Yeah, and so that's when I told him, So that's when I told him, everyone in my family tells me that when I was a little kid, I would act like a wolf sometimes, and I would like refuse to go by my name, and they had to call me Wolfie, and I don't even remember that, but apparently I did it till I was like 11. Sometimes it just feels like I'm watching somebody else live my life, you know? Like I'm up in a little room in my head just staring out the windows that are my eyes while my body does things without me. Dissociation is wild.